Hello and welcome to Shittywebcomics Weekly. We're explorers on the furthest reaches of experience, demons to some, angels to others, and our
Definitely
videos.
demons to some, demons to more than some.
But angels to the patrician people who are smart enough to tell. But
Yes.
our videos are brought to you by our Subscribe Star backers. Donate to see into the mind of God. The end. Good
Well, they're
video.
not.
See you next week. No,
Okay,
but
like, share, comment, subscribe.
what were you just saying? We were just talking. I already forgot. We were talking
It
about.
was just about how the source, fucking respect for the source
Oh
material.
yeah, you were talking about Wheels, your favorite X Men
Well, I was
character.
talking about Star Trek versus Cape shit.
Oh yeah, well there was just a weird thing that I was thinking about is that Red Letter Media review of Into Darkness, where Spock is just punching and he's punching and punching and punching and punching, punching and punching and punching and punching, and it says, "What do you mean I didn't give you exact change?" But but it was Mike who was like, I just think of like Spock and Superman as these these characters that are like
Family
fridge
friendly,
magnet.
wholesome.
Yeah. But then, to be honest, and I know Mike knows this, and I know they all know this, but Spock was constantly beating the shit out of the other crewmates in the show. He was constantly because it was supposed to show Leonard Nimoy's range, so that he could have a sizzle reel of stuff that wasn't just him standing there
Yeah.
emotionlessly saying things in monotone. Which I understand that they people on
Yeah.
TV shows, they got to have something for their sizzle reel
And
that
also,
their
and
agents
on
can
top of
send
that,
to
though, I mean, the
studios.
people who are making the show want to keep people engaged.
But
It's
yeah,
like how we make Spock act out.
the I'm not going back, Jim episode. Kirk has to incite Spock to beat his ass. There was that other episode where
Well,
Spock
there's
is like
enough
crying and he
time.
smashes a computer. He just pancakes it like it's made out of paper
Like it's
mache.
made out of contact paper,
Yes, but um, it is
which is
funny
great.
because those
Then
were
there's
like
what was it? The Man Trap.
those
The
were
Man
funny. Oh
Trap,
yeah,
like
yeah.
the
The Man Trap.
first original actual aired
Yeah,
episode where
there's
Spock
no
does this hammer
Ponfar.
punching.
His emotions aren't being manipulated. He's just hammer punching a woman over and over in the face, screaming, "Get her away from that captain!" Because it was the first episode, so they didn't have the character down exactly, which makes it really funny. That was actually still kind of a relatively decent episode
Yeah,
because it
that's
was,
the thing is the show technically had 3 pilots.
yeah,
It had the Cage, and then it had Where No Man Has Gone Before, and then the first
and then
aired
Man
episode
Trap.
was the Man Trap because
To,
they still weren't sure
to be honest,
about this Star Trek
the
shit.
Man Trap is kind of the best one to start with because it's just kind of a regular, it's our crew in action. Here's your crew. There ends a mystery. Oh, it's kind of a medical scientific mystery, and that is ultimately the basic premise of the entire series. The correct basic premise of the entire series, where that's what the average original series episode is like. That's what the average TNG episode is like. It's kind of what the average DS9 episode is like, with a much. DS9 was more like about the interpersonal political conflicts of the different races on the border and at the wormhole and the Dominion
Yeah,
and the
DS9 is
war and that kind of
an
shit.
interesting concept because it's getting away from pure exploration.
Yeah,
And
although
it's actually about exploring the universe that already exists.
the funny thing is that there was still a bigger potential for exploration because they had an entire quadrant of the galaxy completely open to them. But instead of there was some exploration, but instead of a lot of exploration, it was just mostly like, oh, there's
Yeah,
an
instead of
entire
mysteries
faction
of
that
the
just wants to
universe,
fuck
it
us
was
up.
like, oh, there's a hostile alien species. What do we do when everything we know is being threatened?
Yeah, the entire Federation was legitimately at risk. And then there was Voyager, which was supposed to be more about exploration, but it was like retarded
Yeah, Voyager
exploration.
was supposed to be trying to be the complete opposite of that, just pure mystery,
Yeah,
pure the wonders of the galaxy,
which
the
usually
wonders of the
resulted
universe.
in Janeway turning into a fucking salamander.
Yeah.
Just
We
retarded.
were
And
watching
then
that Lower Decks episode.
and completely fucking cured like over a single cut, not even a commercial break, but it's just like cut and she's better. It's like, oh, okay, didn't know it was that easy. But yeah, then
Because that's how low effort the show was.
yeah, well, I mean, there was still effort behind the show. It's just that the writing was the dumbest at the time. Then Enterprise really was more about exploration, and Enterprise had its share of shitty episodes, but after it sort of kicked off and really going into the Xindi season, it was
Well, there
on
were four
fire.
seasons, from what I remember. There were it got 4 seasons. That's like real life. There's
Or was
4
it
seasons.
5? Or was it 4 or 5? I don't fucking know.
I'm pretty sure it was 4 because Zendiark was 3, and then the last season was the one after that.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Although I think the Xindi arc was 4, and then the last one was 5. I don't know. I think it was
I don't know.
4
I
total.
don't know.
I have no idea, but I do know that those last couple of seasons were excellent.
Yeah, the Zendiark was mostly good. Which,
It's usually how it
considering
is.
Seasons 1 and 2 were not really that good.
Most nobody ever seems to mention this, but every show that's good is really good at season 3. Their best season is 3.
Yeah.
It's usually when the show either peaks or it is starting to peak, and it's the best starting point. Like TNG, its best is 3.
What was it? Babylon 5.
Yeah, that's right. And
Star Trek
House,
Picard, technically.
House is
Star Trek Picard,
is
but
good.
not Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah, the Star
I
Trek
tried to watch
Discovery
Star Trek
will
Discovery
never be
season
good.
3 because they're just not going to review it anymore.
Strange
it's like,
New
let me
Worlds.
just see what happened. So I went in and I skimmed some of it. And it's like, okay, this is pretty bad.
No, yeah,
This is still bad.
Discovery is like the fucking dumbest shit ever. Star Trek Picard, like that first season, is the dumbest shit. You could tell it's the same thing as Discovery. And the funny thing is that obviously seemed like what Lower Decks was going to be, but then it turned out Lower Decks was actually the good show. It's the best one. And also kind of like Orville. Orville and Lower Decks are like back to being about actual exploration of space
The best
stuff
Star Trek.
and new situations.
So clear. He just wanted to make his own Star Trek. And then it turns out, oh, he's actually better at it than the people who are making Star Trek now.
Yeah, which was a low bar,
That's actually
of course.
one of the things that I had to really consider was the fact that, it's like seasons 1 and 2 of TNG. I mean, I still consider those to be more watchable than like Picard and Discovery.
Yeah.
But those were really bad seasons. And I never had to bother dealing with that before.
I genuinely consider
We didn't watch it when they were new.
TNG season 1 I consider to be about the same as Discovery and Star Trek Picard, maybe in different ways, but there's a lot of like, oh, don't you see that capitalism is actually very stupid, and we've evolved beyond that because we're
Even then,
better.
though, there's still better characters.
Yeah, that is true.
At least that has the characters that we grow to know and love, so you can at least enjoy that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of
Discovery
payoffs.
does not have
actually.
any of that shit.
There's an incredible amount of payoffs, stuff that's in the first couple of seasons that is exploited very nicely for really good episodes in the following seasons. Like Crystalline Entity and lore and Commander Maddox. That kind of. I mean, the Measure of a Man is a great episode. It's one of the only ones that stands out. Season 2 actually had a handful of good. I actually liked Casino Royale or the Royale or whatever the fuck it was called.
What was that episode called? Whatever the episode was called.
Yeah, I was like, it's called Casino Royale. I was like, wait, no, that can't be
That's the
right.
movie.
That's the movie. That's the James Bond movie that originally was a comedy. The original movie was a comedy, and then the remake was rebooting James Bond as gritty. He'd rather kick you in the face. The edgy James Bond. But apparently, by the way, that Casino Royale and Skyfall, written by the same guy. And it's like, you know what, that kind of fits. It's like, why did they just have him write all of them then?
Squantum of Qualis was such a bad movie in comparison.
That was a weird, odd, like baffling, silly, dumb, pretentious movie. It had a few good
But it was also boring.
aspects, but
It was also
it was
boring.
just kind of a dud. I wanted to like it. I saw it in the theater. Um,
Yeah.
I saw
Same
Skyfall in
thing
theater
for what
after
was it,
that too,
Spectre?
though. Skyfall fucking rules.
Yeah, but whatever the one that was after Skyfall. It was like, oh,
Um,
he's Blofeld, and he's actually James
yeah,
Bond's brother or something,
I can't believe
and then
what a
he's dead.
letdown that one was too.
Yeah.
I was almost depressed watching it. I felt the same way watching Star Trek Nemesis. I was like, uh, fucking, I'm getting too old for this Star Trek shit.
I'm getting too old for shit.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, it went nowhere. It could have gone somewhere crazy.
Oh man, imagine all the cool things you can do with this concept. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, just he's in the big fucking payoff. He's in a helicopter and then it crashes. The end. It's like, okay, wow, cool. All right, neat. That's your movie. That's the whole movie, huh? They were setting up like it's Spectre. It's the giant evil fucking
Yeah, this is the organization from the other James Bond movies, and here's
yeah.
Blofeld.
And they have just this entire control over fucking up the entire world, and it's like James Bond's gonna face him down, and it's Christoph Waltz. He's gonna be
And
really
his
smug
parents
in
had
this
something to do
one,
with it too originally. It's like, holy shit, where's this going?
and then it's like, oh, he's in a helicopter and he just crashes. The end.
He turns on the gas. Well, he's like being held at the super secret fucking volcano layer or whatever. And then he just turns, and James Bond just gets out of the chair
he's
and then
chained
turns
up
on
and
the gas.
this guy laser's gonna cut him in half, and he flicks a coin and it hits the laser just right, so the laser splits and breaks all the bonds, and he just runs off. And then
That's
Homer
exactly
Simpson
what
just
happens in
shoulder
Goldfinger.
slams him and they machine gun him to death. The end. That was more
That's exactly.
satisfying than fucking Spectre.
Yes.
Fucking thank you, good job, Homer Simpson. You killed James Bond.
He's working for the villains.
Yeah, I guess that's unfortunate. I don't know, but yeah.
Again, better than the actual movie.
But also, speaking of movies, you were talking about the respect for the source material, because Wolverine going around roasting everyone and referring to Professor X as Wheels.
So yeah, just ripping everyone a new asshole and making fun of them for being the X-Men. It's like, well, this is normally something where people are like, what about the respect for the source material? And it's like, when it comes to cape shit, you really can't have respect for the source material.
Well,
not that you should or shouldn't, but it's impossible.
When you're going over like silly comic books that were mostly meant to be read by 10-year-olds. Now, I know there's some differences. I will give Chris Claremont a lot of credit for trying to get a lot of intricate storytelling and shit.
A good story can come from anywhere. It's not about having respect for the source material so you have the best storytelling. It's that a lot of comic nerds get insulted that you didn't respect the fucking part where the goofy, cute dinosaur lizard fucking plushie turned into a monster, and it was a very tragic story arc. And it's like, oh, is it really? Because I read that, and it was boring as shit.
Or like the Orange Man thing.
Oh yeah, Orange Man syndrome.
Yeah,
classic Orange Man.
Classic. But yeah, that's the respecting the source material. I mean, it comes to a certain issue when it's like the Star Trek movies or the new Star Trek shows, of course. Well, it's not even that they disrespect the source material, because it seems like they're familiar with the source material and they're trying to respect it while trying to do, their new twist on it. They just suck. That's the actual problem. It's not about respecting the source material, it's that they suck either way. So whether they were respecting it or not, they suck. But the X-Men movies, those first few X-Men movies, are still good.
Yeah, that's another key element is they were making fun of the yellow spandex and the goofy character names. They did that in First Class too.
Yeah, although at the same time, the source material is understood. It's actually comprehended. And that's, I think, what people really want to mean when they say respecting the source material. Sometimes the source material shouldn't be respected. Sometimes you have to adapt it. You have to change something because it's not going to work in a movie.
Yeah, I mean, most especially is that it's comic books.
Yeah, they're called comic books, not drama books.
But
Even though
no, I
they
mean,
could be.
again, that is not the fucking viewpoint I
No.
want anyone to take from this.
No, it's just
Fucking comic books are responsible for any number of great storytelling, but you take your stupid ass cape shit and then you fucking get angry about it. It's like, you're not respected. Or don't you understand how much Spider-Man means to people? I was getting that fucking argument from whoever the fuck on the Preston thing, where he's like, he doesn't want to hear about manga anymore.
the
He wants to
Preston
hear
Knights.
more about Spider-Man. And it's
Oh
like,
yeah,
enough about Spider-Man.
yeah. There's some people just fucking like crying and shitting themselves like
Baby
dumb
boomers,
gay
especially.
babies.
There's another huge problem with the fucking baby boomers.
Developmentally, they're not quite with the other gay babies.
The
But
other gay baby boomers.
yeah, that's the That's the actual difference. Is the well-written comics versus the cape shit. And most people have reverence for cape shit, even though it's the dumbest shit ever. And they can't even appreciate that it's dumb.
You know what? That's
It's
also
like
one of the
fucking
things I
about,
remember about
rock
what was it,
music.
Richard C. Meyer, who was talking about like fucking Pigman was puerile or some shit, and then
But then
he
he
says
liked
if you
fucking
don't like cape shit, you don't like comics. And then it's like, oh, my favorite comic is what was it? Fucking Asterios Polyp.
yeah.
It's like, that is so far from cape shit, though. So what the fuck are you talking about?
You can tell
idiot?
the creator of it clearly had no love for cape shit too. But then also he loved Donny Cates's Venom and Tom King's Mr. Miracle Man or whatever the fuck, which were just some of the gayest comics in the past 10 years. And yet all of those people, when Richard said he loved it, all of his fans said that oh yeah, it is good then. And it's like it's all about follow the leader.
Yeah, he was
All
he
fandoms
was
and all
giving
cape shit
positive
fans are
reviews
all
to the
about
guy
follow
he
the
was
leader.
suing, and his fucking stupid ass audience were like, "See, that just goes to show that he has fucking integrity." And it's like, no, it shows the opposite.
Yeah, no.
It shows that he has no integrity.
It
He has
proves the
of
exact
integrity.
opposite of integrity.
He's giving positive reviews to the stupid Mark Waid or whoever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Basically, one of the shittiest fucking people to ever make anything. He makes absolute dog shit comics, but Richard loves it because it's stupid ass cape shit. It's Spider-Man. It's woke Spider-Man. Therefore, he loves it.
I mean, it makes sense when you consider Richard's comics. Ya boy Zach's comics are some of the worst comics ever made, and nobody would know that better than us because we have the best taste, and we're pretty much the.
We are also nobody else has reviewed or read his comics because they're either literal retards or like, this comic is good. It is cape shit.
Well, they think that is a review too. That's the funny thing is they think that's an actual review when they go, "This comic's really cool because it has this cool part where they fight." That's unironically the under people's idea of a review. They think that they're making a point when they say something like that.
That's how he reviewed the fucking. He would review Spider-Man and be like, his positives for the book are like, check out this page. It's another 2-page splash that doesn't need to exist. It's like, it's so dope. He kicks this guy. It's dope.
He's a 40-year-old
like,
man talking about how things are dope because he heard kids say it in his webinar on how to speak like the younger generation.
After he graduated college, it's like, how do the Squiddos talk? And that was 20 years ago, and he never fucking grew up from there.
He graduated from bitch school. That's where he came from. But anyways, we were going to talk about something else. But you know what? I'm just going to throw a different background over this one, and I could throw some gameplay footage over this one, in fact. And
yeah, who cares?
Who even cares? I don't care. So, but at the same time, you should care, and if you care about supporting the good, smart, correct people, as you know, the other good creators have already been for years. Find out what people like Tim Lim and Mark Pellegrini have known for years that you may be completely clueless about. And you can do that best by like, share, comment, subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe, and more
To
importantly,
John Malin, because John Malin is so stupid, he literally did that.
yeah, that actually happened. That's not even a joke. He did that. Mike S. Miller also did that. Ethan Van
It
Sciver
used
does
to
that,
be a
but he
joke.
used sock accounts to do it. So he understood how to hide it better, but then in private, he would keep constantly
I do
bringing this
also
up from
wonder,
behind a
because
blog, too.
that was the exact same time that they were refund brigading, when Water Closet was doing the refund brigading,
Yeah.
where they donate a bunch to a small project that can't afford to give refunds,
Mm-hmm.
and then they just refund all the money at once so that their project is ruined and then their finances are ruined.
Yeah, Comicsgate even did that with a few other books just on their own outside of Toilet Closet. But like with one of Nasser's books, one guy like had himself drawn into the comic and
Again,
then
somebody on their side.
demanded a
They're
refund
not
after
the
the
dreaded
book was done.
SJWs in indie comics. This is somebody on their side.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they are the SJWs in indie comics. They're
Well,
in
yeah.
Comicsgate, and most of them, of course, those same SJWs have simply jumped onto other bandwagons, Iron Age and Rippaverse and that kind of thing. But again, if you want to know what nobody else is honest enough to admit to, donate to our Subscribe Star, become PayPig. And for everyone else, should have listened to Shitty Webcomics.